dear friends, I hope this finds you well and that you had a beautiful, meaningful, and restful Pesach. Here we are, once again, getting ready for Shabbat. And I hope you are ready for it and feeling rejuvenated and ready to embrace Shabbat Parshat Shmini. You know, there's a lot of negativity in the world. There's a lot of bad news, but there is some good news coming out of this quarantine. The first thing is, of course, flannel shirts. I am able to wear flannel shirts every day. And people ask, you know, who are you going to be when you come out of the quarantine? What sort of person will you be when you come out of this isolation back into normalcy? What are you going to take with you? I think I'm going to take with me flannel shirts. The other good news, I don't know if you saw this past week, but there's kind of been a lot of confusion about, you know, the source of the coronavirus, and, you know, it's from China and a bat and whatever it is. But this week the experts have basically put out some, you know, conclusive data that the source of the coronavirus is, of course, the 5G wireless network. So I've switched to 3G, switched back to 3G from 4G. So it's the 5G wireless network, and of course this has Bill Gates' fingerprints all over it. He's been trying to find ways to implant chips within all of us, and as a result of the 5G, and then now the coronavirus, and everyone who's got the coronavirus, they've basically been implanted with chips that will be able to control them and basically figure out more of their shopping patterns, and etc. So, I mean, this is wonderful information, wonderful news that we've come across, and finally got to the bottom of it, and so this, I think, big sigh of relief. Now, of course, I am joking, but many people who spread this information are not. You see a lot of people who emerge, and this is obviously somewhat absurd, but people believe it. But there are other theories and other ideas and other approaches to the whole coronavirus thing that are being peddled online. And it's the misinformation that we see right now is just incredible and is dangerous. It is incredibly dangerous. And you see a lot of people, even in kind of more serious circles, you see a lot of people who are emerging as experts, who are stating, this is why it's happening, or this is what you should do, and this is how you cure it, and this is what it is. And they're all fools, right? Nobody has come out with anything with, you know, there are doctors who are trying to figure this out, and there are people of more or less clarity. But even the experts, the people who've been studying, you know, who've been studying disease for centuries, for decades, I should say, you know, they themselves don't know. They themselves are struggling. And it is in light of all this that we should be aware of something we call epistemic humility. And this is an idea that my mother shared with me. Epistemic humility is the philosophy, I'm going to read the definition. In the philosophy of science, epistemic humility refers to a posture of scientific observation rooted in the recognition that our knowledge of the world is limited. We all, each and every one of us, our understanding of this world is limited, even if we are an expert. And the dangerous thing is that the less knowledgeable a person may be, the more often they come out with great confidence in what it is that they're saying. You see that all the time. Everybody now, right, do a little bit of research on YouTube and Wikipedia. You got it, you figure it out. 5G, Bill Gates, the Jews, right? It makes sense. The world is flat, right? This is a crazy world that we live in, and it's people who are less experts. They emerge as people who are completely confident in what it is that they know, whereas the people who are more the experts are more and more coming in tune with the fact that they really don't know. They really don't know. And so on one hand, this is scary for those of us who say, oh, we need help here, we need something. But on the other hand, I think that this is a powerful idea. And this epistemic humility is a trait that all of us need to embrace. We don't know. I don't know. I have to constantly, and even when it comes to the things that I should know, when it comes to the Torah and halacha, and even myself, I'm constantly, hopefully I should be constantly trying to not rewrite, but re-examine what it is that I think that I know about myself and about the world and about Torah, and constantly look at things with new eyes. In our Parshat Shmini, we of course have the tragedy of Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron, who bring a strange offering into the Holy of Holies just when they're basically getting the tabernacle, the Mishkan, ready. Everything's fine, everything's good. These two young men, they bring in a strange fire and they get destroyed, they get killed. And it's a great tragedy. What happens? Moshe says, oh, God is sanctified through those who are closest to him. But Aaron responds with silence. Vayidom Aaron, probably the two most powerful words in the entire Torah. Vayidom Aaron, Aaron was silent when he heard about this. There are many reasons, many theories, many ideas, many explanations as to why it was that his sons died. Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? Did they do the right thing? Did they do the wrong thing? We don't know. So many reasons, so many ideas, but at the end of the day, Aaron was just silent. He didn't really know. He was just filled with the pain of losing his children, regardless of whether they had holy intentions or unholy intentions, regardless. Nonetheless, he was just silent. He just took it in. He just mourned. And so I think that, there's so many ways that we can, so many things we can take out of this idea. But definitely in light of the tragedy of the world that we're in right now, we should not be paralyzed by inaction. And this is not to say that Aaron was paralyzed. Aaron was sitting in mourning. We have to give space to the mourning and to the grief, as I've shared with you in the past. But we just don't have to think we know. We don't have to think we understand. We don't have to have an answer at the ready. Even especially religious leaders don't have to say, oh, it's happening because of this, happening because of that. We don't know. We can be silent, we can mourn, and then we think about what we need to do moving forward in order to sanctify the world, in order to move in towards healthy and holy and connected and guided the reconstruction of this world. And so it's this epistemic humility. A humility coming not from ignorance, but from an awareness that my knowledge and my understanding of whatever happens in this world is deeply filtered by my own perception and the limits of my own perception. Hashem should bless us all with humility. Hashem should bless us all with then the insight to be able to understand what it is, what the proper steps are, what the right things are, how can we protect ourselves, how can we heal this world. That's what we need. A bit more of humility. Hashem should bless us all. Hashem should bless us all with a beautiful Shabbat, a restful Shabbat, a meaningful Shabbat, to move forward into a world of healing, health, and happiness. Shabbat Shalom.